Did you ever have Jane Goodall on here?
No, I did not, unfortunately.
I wanted to make that happen.
I wanted to, and I wanted. She's gone, right?
She just died.
I wanted to talk to her about Bigfoot because she was convinced that Bigfoot was real.
What?
Yeah.
She was convinced that Bigfoot was real.
Yeah. She did this interview where she said she's certain of it. Yeah. We'll find it. Jamie, find that.
Not that I don't believe you, but I just don't find Jane Goodall.
I know. I was stunned. I was like, what? And this is by the time I had been convinced that Bigfoot was fake.
Yeah, I'm in that camp.
But
there's camera traps.
But this is the camp. There was an animal that coexisted with human beings for sure that was called Gigantopithecus.
Yes. Fine.
You know the whole story.
Yeah.
So Gigantopithecus, they found bones in an apothecary shop in China in the 1920s or 30s. And an anthropologist found these molars and said, where did you get this? These are primate molars, and they're fucking enormous.
Yeah.
Like whatever this thing was absolutely huge. So they went to the site where they got it. They found mandible bones that indicated it was bipedal. So it was an upright walking primate that was 8 to 10 feet tall. Like, what the fuck is this? And so I'm sure you've seen the images of what a Gigantopithecus looked like in comparison to a human being.
Yeah.
It's in the orangutan family. And so that thing existed and also existed in Asia, right? So you look at the Bering Strait and you look at the Bering Land Bridge that we know existed during the Ice Age. And so we know that humans migrated from Siberia into North America. We know that for a fact. You know one of the reasons we know that for a fact? Because Mormons were convinced that Native Americans were part of the lost tribe of Israel. Yeah. So some rich Mormon guy did a DNA test on Native Americans and found out that they emanated from Siberia. Yeah. And so it was incorrect. Yes. So we know humans came down from there. Why wouldn't other animals? Sure. Well, we know they did. We know short-faced bear, a bunch of different animals that they find their bones in Alaska, and they know that they probably made their way down through North America. It just makes logical sense that if you have a variety of different megafauna, primates, that probably one of those primates or a bunch of those primates lived in the Pacific Northwest, which is the area where they would be, right? And then you have incredibly dense forest, right? Yeah. So Jane Goodall won't rule out the existence of... But no. Find the video where she says, I'm convinced. I'm convinced. Yeah, because she was talking...
I didn't see her say that.
Oh, no. I've heard it.
Come on.
I'm not saying
okay, just find it, because it exists.
It doesn't exist.
I can't listen to the videos.
No. Go to video.
Dude, she would have been awesome. You should... I'm so sad.
Jane Goodall and how Bigfoot might be real. That's it right there. Put the headphones on. Listen to this.
It's a 4-minute video.
Headphones.
Here we go.
I climbed into the hills.
Oh, there's Jane.
This was where I was meant to be.
I wanted to talk to you about something that some would say is fictional, but you would say, hold up, we don't know for certain, and that's Bigfoot.
Everybody talks to me about... I'm romantic. I would like Bigfoot to exist. I've met people who swear they've seen Bigfoot. And I think the interesting thing is every single continent, there is an equivalent of Bigfoot or Sasquatch. There's the Yeti, there's the Yari in Australia, there's the Chinese wild man, and on and on and on. And, you know, I've had stories from people who, you have to believe them. So there's something, I don't know what it is. I'm always open-minded.
What about other mythological creatures?
Pause for a second. So they're saying that to her. He's saying that to her, and she said that in reaction to a previous interview that she did. The previous interview that she did, she said, "I'm convinced that it exists."
I don't know.
Well, you know, you got to realize this is a lady that lived with primates in an inaccessible area where there's very few human beings, and she had these interactions with them. I don't agree with her, but I think that it existed at one point in time. One of the other reasons why I think it existed is that different Native American tribes put this into perplexity. How many different Native American terms were there for a hairy wild man or Bigfoot? And I believe there's more than 80.
That's wild.
Now, they don't have a lot of mythological creatures in Native American culture.
Yeah.
Right? And so in different tribes, right? But they have a name for this hairy, wild, giant man that lives in the woods.
A Wookiee.
Yeah. They also have, the other thing that's really fascinating is giants. There is a lot of ancient cultures have stories about giants. And Native American tribes have ancient stories of giant red-haired men, which, you know, God, it's in the Bible. It's in a bunch of, 40 to 50 separate terms across different languages and regions. Hairy, wild, giant man. No single agreed upon count, but dozens of distinct Native American names for hairy, wild, giant man beings, easily over 40 to 50 separate terms across different languages and regions. Interesting.
Wow. I would love to see the clip eventually of Jane Goodall saying, I believe in Bigfoot. Because she's saying there, she's like, I'm open to the idea of it.
She's saying that, and the reason why he's asking that is because he had,
He'd seen
seen the previous interview. See if we can find another interview with her talking about Bigfoot.
She was awesome. You know, she was awesome. She's the reason I have a career.
Really?
Her being awesome. It's two stories I tell people. If I go, first of all, because everyone goes, what's Joe Rogan like?
Yeah.
And no, it's true, because everyone wants to know, and you're controversial. And so I always go, he's the nicest fucking guy in the world. Like I said, the first time I came in, you sent me a message and you said something about like, hey, don't worry about a thing. Like, I'm even going to bring my dog. Like, it was very nice. It was a little pat on the back. Because you go, Jane Goodall, I went to a talk when I was like 22 something, and I was just writing chapters of my first book, Mother of God, which didn't even have a name yet. And I had chapters in a manila envelope, and I went to a talk that Goodall was giving. And I mean, I'd been read stories and seen the black and white pictures. So this was like, you know, like Einstein, Abe Lincoln, Jane Goodall. It's like a living historical figure.
Right.
And so now she's talking in front of me, and I had brought these chapters, and I wanted to ask her, because I'd already sent the chapters to publishers, and they'd all been like, kid, none of this is true. You know, no way did you jump on a giant anaconda. No way did you raise an anteater. They just didn't believe me. And then I when it was my turn, after hundreds of people, I get to her, and, you know, she goes, hello. She goes, she takes a little picture with you. And I said, would you read these chapters? I said, I would love it, because I loved your stories as a kid. And she goes, thank you. And she puts it to the side. 48 hours later, her staff gets in touch, and they go, Jane actually read what you gave her, loved it, and said, finish the book, get a publisher, and I will write you an endorsement.
Whoa.
She waved her magical wand in my direction and gave me a career.
That's so cool.
And what's really great is that earlier this year, I emailed her, and it was because this book was coming out, and I said it would be amazing to have. I mean, I said at this point, no one's, you know, the conservation, the voice of Mother Earth. And she just said, you know, just keep protecting the Amazon. That's your mission. She was always it was like, you know, Luke, believe in yourself. It was like, you know, she was just like, your job is to protect this forest. And it was incredible.
That's amazing.
And so, yeah, right. Me, you know, about 6 months ago, I got to tell her, I was like, look, because the last time I'd spoken to her, we were protecting, I think it was like 100,000 acres. And then in the last year, we added 30,000 acres to the reserve. And so I said, you know, we're making strides forward. And it was good that I got to tell her that. And then, you know, recently we found out that she died, but what a legacy.
What a legacy.
What a legacy.
Yeah, I mean,
incredible.
we know so much about primate behavior because of that woman.
We know so much about, I mean, Man the Toolmaker, before her, we said that it was humans that used tools. And now we know that, you know, capuchin monkeys use rocks. We know that otters use rocks. I mean, I've seen elephants use a stick to scratch. I've seen camera trap footage of an elephant using a tree to knock over an electrical fence. Like, animals use tools.
Oh,
but
yeah.
She was the first one. I mean, she went out there when she was, 20-something years old, in middle Africa, blonde girl.
Crazy.
And then spent the whole rest of her life. But the lesson that I take away from that is that even as famous as she was, that she was traveling 300 days a year, I mean, she'd been, you know, an icon for decades, and that she still took the time to actually read something that some kid handed to her. That's unfathomable grace.
Yeah.
To do that. And then literally, if that didn't happen, I never would have published Mother of God. I never would have started Jungle Keepers. I never would have been protecting the rainforest. She empowered that. She did that with her magic. It was, and I think that that's incredible.
That's so cool.
On that show, I tell a joke about Bigfoot. I never saw Bigfoot, but when we were on training. You do these training where you go make maps and all this shit, and we heard him.
You heard Bigfoot?
Heard Bigfoot. I heard him.
What does it sound like?
I could still do that. He does that, but everything you see on them stupid TV shows, that happened. He threw a rock. All the animals started running, and the Marine, because he's the guy who knows where the markers are, but we didn't know where the markers were. He's the one who says, "Hey, we're out of perimeter. Have you guys ever heard of Bigfoot?" Blah 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 blah. He tells us he was Native American, but he just said that, and
where were you guys? What state?
Like Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia.
Where they do cold weather training. Yeah, and you have to make your own maps.
You sure they weren't fucking with you?
I'm pretty sure. Who threw that rock?
Somebody that was fucking with you?
No.
No?
Why you fuck with the animals too? All the animals ran too. Remember
Yeah.
how you said they know how to get away? All these fuckers they just did a little mass exodus, and it's a all.
I'm very skeptical of Bigfoot.
I've never seen him, but I never heard nothing like that either.
So what if you had him? Did it sound like?
It just sounded. It was.
What was it similar to?
You ever hear Luther Vandross sing live? Like when you hear him on a record, it's one thing, but when you hear him live, he's ooh, like that. He didn't sound like that, but it was the same
Power,
like hair on the back of your neck, kind of.
Really?
What the fuck?
Well, bears do that sometimes. Bears, especially when what time of the year was it?
It was winter. Because you listen to the wind. It's like it sounds like a train coming. You have to determine where the wind is coming from and get on a tree or something, because a lot of the icicles are coming like darts.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Jesus.
And that night we were joking. I was joking around about it and everything. And one of the officers says, this is a facility, and we don't. Heard you're a comedian. We don't make. Basically, you can't go on stage and go, "Hey, guess where I was at?" So I was just in the joke. I'm just camping, and we.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, but there's nobody's in the military. But and in the joke, I actually do see Bigfoot. It's a funny.
So tell me, how did it happen? What was going on? What were the circumstances?
We were
Lay it out for me.
Okay, you have you get, because it's cold and it's raining, and so we're like in a little circle. And it's kind of raining, kind of sleeting, and we're talking about, we're gonna do this and do that, because we're comparing shit, and everybody's fucking up. We found our third marker first, and it's supposed to be like a 2 or 3 day thing, right? And the good teams, like, you do it in the classroom for a couple of days, and then a team goes out, team come back, team goes out, and some of the guys who weren't as good as us in the classroom were coming right back in 2 days. They just spent one night and came back. Shit, man, we was on our third day, dog. What? And then our first marker was the third marker, but he couldn't help us. But then after we heard that, he's like, "Look, you guys fucked up." So because we're all.
So how long did it take in total?
We left right after that, dog. He told us he didn't want to be there the morning we wanted to be there. So yeah, it's a lot of fudging going on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you said, yeah, good enough.
It's good enough. Yeah.
So you guys were out there, and explain to me what happened and who was telling you that it's Bigfoot.
Well, we all heard it.
Right.
Everybody's like, "What the fuck?" And then everything's running, deer, and everything's just like scurrying. But we heard the, how you throw a stick through the branches. You just throw it's just like a big something just flew through the trees, and then that's when he's kind of, and of course we're like, "Fuck out of here,"
Right.
But it was just too weird. And then he was like, "Yeah, you guys missed your other markers. I might know where they are." So we just kind of went and got on our markers and went back to the base. Because we're out, dude. We're out like 20 miles. Out. You have to make
Out there with Bigfoot.
Well, I wasn't really worried about Bigfoot, because according to that dude, Bigfoot don't bother you. I was worried about the other animals.
So that dude's seen Bigfoot before?
I don't know if he's seen him before, but he just said he don't. But he just lets you know when you've gone too far in the woods.
Really?
Like nobody
I
ever
wanna
says.
believe
Nobody
this.
ever says that he grabs you and do nothing. He just does warning things, just like on those stupid TV shows. You ever watch those shows?
Oh,
Where they go,
yeah.
Oh, we heard. We think
Yeah.
we heard the Sasquatch.
Yeah.
And you
That's
sit
been the
up-
least successful show ever.
Yes, but
They've been trying to find Bigfoot for like 8 seasons.
I've spent
Still
a
on.
whole day on the road. Like if I'm in my hotel, I spent the whole day with, oh shit, they about to get it. Oh shit. Like, oh my God.
me too.
And then I'm like, it's 5 o'clock.
They got me again.
Yeah, you're like, fuck, man, I
Yeah.
gotta go get something to eat.
Yeah, that's not. Those aren't so successful.
Yeah.
I mean, the best they get is like a sound.
Yeah, that's it.
But those
That's all I
those
got.
Reality shows, man, they're not really reality. They fuck around. They fuck around with editing. You know, I was on one of those.
What do you do the naked one?
A naked one? Like
The
a
naked
naked
one.
and confused?
Yeah, no,
What is it
naked and
called?
what's it called?
Afraid.
Naked and afraid. I did what you man. You know how about I had a uniform on and we all got bugs.
Yeah,
So
naked.
I know.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Oh my
The
God.
suffering.
Yeah,
Also,
it's-
I don't know if they how bad can you get fucked up and how quickly can they get you to a hospital?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You become you don't trust in the way you view things anymore. You're boxed in. It's very dangerous to be committed to something you know is not true.
It also
because
shows
it
a level
boxes
of
you in.
intelligence too, because when you got these geniuses who spent
Yeah.
their entire lives doing this stuff in astrophysics, you're telling me that they're part of this scheme too, and they believe that it's
This is
flat?
100% of the problem. 100%. It's adopting an idea too soon. That's 100% of the idea. Because once you adopt that idea and then you hang on to it, now you're fucked. Like Bigfoot, man. Bigfoot was a big one for me. I was convinced that
Really?
Bigfoot was real.
What's wrong with you? How long
Stupid.
ago was this?
A couple weeks
Not
ago.
when not when I'd known you.
Yeah, man. When I did this TV show, that's when I totally let it go. I'd kind of let it go before then, but Duncan and I actually went to the Pacific Northwest, and we went to hang out with like real Bigfoot experts that were searching for Bigfoot all the time.
When you say real Bigfoot experts, you mean con artists
No, it's not that.
Dumbasses.
The way I described them was unfuckable white dudes.
who have nothing to do.
They're just a bunch of fellows. We decided to call ourselves a rap band. We're gonna call ourselves UFWD,
Fuck's sakes.
Unfuckable White Dudes.
And you didn't find anything.
out there in the Pacific
You didn't find
Northwest.
shit.
We found camp spots, a lot of spent shells and beer cans laying around.
You're better than that, Joe.
No, this is what I found out. People want to believe in things. And once you want to believe in something, instead of looking at it objectively and going, well, I'm not sure, you like automatically go towards any information that would point to the fact that the thing is real, not to the whole body of information. Look, well, how crazy are these people? When you meet the people that believe in Bigfoot, the ones that have seen it, the ones that have claimed to have seen it, almost all of them were clearly lying.
And a little like out of it.
There was one
on
lady.
the spectrum.
Maybe, yeah, but just some people are just liars. They can't help it. They make stories up to make themselves feel better. Like they just crazy, and you can't really say it to their face because you don't really know. But sometimes it just gets ridiculous. And this one lady was one of the only ones that didn't seem like that. This one lady was telling me a story about how she was going through the woods, and she saw some big thing that was standing up, and it was like 7 feet tall, and it was moving through the woods. And she saw this thing, and she was like, oh my God, it's an ape. And then she realized it was Bigfoot. And she saw it for a few steps, and then it was gone. At the time, I was fascinated. At the time, I was like, maybe she really did see it. But now I know for a fact, an absolute fact, that where she lived, there's a lot of black bears. And black bears will often walk on their hind legs. They'll walk like Bigfoot. They really do. There's many, 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 many videos. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. I saw a bear walk for several steps, like 6, 7, maybe even 10 steps
On its hind legs.
on its hind legs, roaring at another bear, and they were going to fight with each other, and they fought with each other standing up. They went after each other.
Dope.
But dude, he walked towards him like that. Look at that.
That does look like Bigfoot.
Look at that. See that bear? This is a bear that had injured paws. And sometimes they'll get their paw bit off in a fight.
God
They
damn.
duke it out with each other, or maybe they get caught in a trap. some fucking assholes that set traps out there
So
for
they're
them
forced
too.
to walk like that.
They bite their own foot off to get out of a trap.
Damn, man.
That's real, man. They get wolves that way. They catch them in traps.
Jesus.
Traps are scary shit,
Hell
man.
yeah.
But these animals, when they get a hurt paw, they'll walk on their back legs like Bigfoot. So she probably saw some shit moving through the woods. Like,
Holy
look at these.
shit.
Yeah, dude, they just stand there.
That's terrifying.
I know, and they can walk like that.
That's terrifying, but it's clearly not a fucking Bigfoot,
Right.
you morons.
No. See, you say that, but dude, I'm telling you, when you're in the Pacific Northwest, you cannot see 15 yards in front of you. Duncan and I were talking about it because, we had to hang out up there and go wandering through the woods. We're like, if there was something right there, like 5 trees away, and then it moved into the back, how long would it take before it disappeared? 2 steps? 3 steps? It's so dense, dude. It's like a Q-tip box. You know how you get Q-tips out of a box?
Yeah, it's a
There's
nightmare.
There's so many of them. There's no gaps in between these trees. Have you been to the Pacific Northwest? Like the rainforest
No,
up
I've
there?
never been in there. I mean, obviously drove through it,
It's
going to shows or
amazing.
some shit.
It's amazing. And here's the other thing about it. It's all pine needles, so that you don't even make any noise.
Yeah, but I would see a standing figure like that in my educated brain. I go, oh, that's a fucking giant bear.
No, because you'd be looking at a hill like 100 yards away, and you would see this thing walk through the tree standing up, and you'd be like, what in the fuck was that? And then it's gone. So then your imagination starts running wild, and your imagination starts filling in the blanks. I don't think it's a coincidence.
Am I
that
high or not?
For sure you're high.
Well, then I'd probably think
You're
it's
in
Bigfoot.
Seattle, man.
Okay, then
why
it's
would you
Bigfoot.
not be high?
Yeah, I'm big.
You're
then
eating
it's Bigfoot.
mushrooms.
Oh, it's
you're
Bigfoot.
high as fuck.
Oh, I'm on shrooms?
Everybody up there's on shrooms.
Then that's a walking brown unicorn.
You're walking down this road in the forest, and you see something that's in the woods, and you see it briefly 100 yards away for 3 or 4 steps. Your brain starts filling in the blanks, and you get excited. You saw a fucking Bigfoot, and I will go to my grave knowing what I saw that day. And everybody wants to be special. So everybody wants to pretend they saw a giant monkey in the woods. But when you really talk to them, that was the only lady I knew that wasn't lying to me. She saw something.
She actually thought it was Bigfoot, but it was a standing.
If I had a guess, if I had some money to bet, I would bet almost 100% what she saw was a bear.
Now, you did the show, and after coming back from that show, you're like, you know what? Bigfoot's bullshit.
It's the same feeling I got talking to everybody. Psychic readers, same feeling I got talking to UFO experts, same feeling I got to everybody wants to believe. Everybody wants to believe.
The UFO I can fucks with. The UFO makes sense to me. There's so many kind of
Sure.
X factors there where I can buy a UFO.
It could be real.
It could be real. Bigfoot, come on.
Here's the thing about Bigfoot. The reason why it's so attractive is because it used to be a real animal. 100%. It was a thing called Gigantopithecus.
Bring that shit up,
They
Jimmy.
didn't know about Gigantopithecus until I believe it was the 1920s. They found a tooth of this primate in an apothecary shop in China. And they're like, what the fuck is this?
Someone's selling it?
Yeah, they were selling it. And someone found another tooth. And they said, oh, there's another. And the primatologists who check it out, that was a real animal.
God.
Yeah.
Dog.
8 foot tall, gigantic orangutan looking thing.
It still doesn't look like a human,
It was in the orangutan family. No, dude. It doesn't. Well, Bigfoot's supposed to look like that. That's
Oh,
what
really?
it's supposed to look like. Yeah, it's not supposed to look like a human.
Well, I thought it was
But
like a hairy human
there's
combo.
there's a photo of a man standing next to a proportionate man, the average sized man standing next to a Gigantopithecus statue. See if you can find that in there. I know it's in there.
Piccathis.
Yeah, that's it. That was how big it was. So that was a real animal, 100%. Now, they're not 100% sure that it walked on 2 legs, but they're pretty sure. And the reason why is the shape of the teeth. That animals that walk on their hind legs, animals that walk upright, have a different shape to their jaw. So that's what they found.
That looks like
They found a
Argo.
jawbone, and they found some teeth, and they found it like all in the same site. And then they realized that they're dealing with a totally different animal.
And he was around how long ago?
10,000 years ago. So this thing existed somewhere in the neighborhood of, I think that's right. Wait a minute, that might be wrong. I think I'm thinking of the Flores man, was the Hobbit man, the little 3 foot tall dude.
Sure.
That
Like
dude
off
was
Lord
like
of the
10,
Rings?
14,000 years ago. That was really soon.
Yeah.
Like really recently. Definitely lived alongside people.
Not that
This might be 100,000. What makes it attractive, though, is where that thing lived is exactly where all the animals came across the Bering Land Bridge that connected Asia to North America. So this Bering Land Bridge was where they think everything came across. Short-faced
Christ.
bears, even people. It looks fake.
Do you think the Gimlin footage is real?
Patterson Gimlin
Yeah,
footage,
yeah.
100% fake.
Fake?
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
fake.
Yeah.
Everything that looks fake is fake.
Is it a person in a suit?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
It's a guy walking.
It's a guy in a suit?
Yeah, 100%. Although I did get really high once, and I was convinced that it was really Bigfoot, and I was being an asshole all this time. I was like, oh my God, what if that really is Bigfoot? I've just been a dick. Because these hardcore Bigfoot believers, that's their footage. The Patterson, but there's so many problems with that. First of all, Roger Patterson literally got arrested for writing a bad check to pay for the camera that he used to film that. They went there specifically to film it. The guy, Bob Hieronymus, who says he was Bigfoot, when you see him walk, he's this big old gangly cowboy-looking dude. When you see him walk, he walks exactly like that Bigfoot
You
thing
think it was
did.
him?
100%.
Huh.
Yeah. They even have a receipt from a fucking gorilla suit that they bought. Have you ever seen him walking side by side? Find a video of Bob Hieronymus walking side by side with the original Patterson footage. So they show the Bigfoot walking and then Bob walking, and you're like, oh. Like, I mean, because he looked like a Bigfoot. The guy was a fucking, there's dudes, the big old cowboy looking dudes, big old fucking farm country strong dudes.
Yeah.
They look like apish. They're just big old fuckers. And this guy was one of those guys. And you see him walking, and he walks right, they superimpose it. They put side by side, rather. And when they do it, you go, oh, yeah, definitely.
What a disappointment.
Do you want to believe that it's real?
No, I don't want to believe.
Did you ever believe it was real?
When I was 8, yeah.
And when you're 9, you're like, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, but my God, there's people to this day, those hardcore Bigfoot people are cult members. They really are. They decide to shut off a part of their brain that critically looks at information.
Aren't there any eyewitnesses who strike you as credible? I was talking to Les Stroud about this. Do you know Les? I was talking to Les once about this, I think.
Yeah, Les, he's a very credible guy in terms of like survival tactics. He knows a lot about that. But he didn't see one with his own eyes. He heard something, and he heard noises that sounded chimpanzee-like. Bears make those noises all the time. I've seen bears make those. I've watched bears make those noises. They make them particularly when they're fighting with each other. They sound very much like gorillas. They do that all the time. So if you were alone in the woods and you heard that and you heard smashing and thumping around, you're like, oh my God, there's a gorilla out there. Oh my God, there's some kind of a primate out there. There have been people that have spotted things that are very eerily similar to what you would think is a large bipedal ape. The problem is a lot of these places are heavily wooded and populated by bears, and bears walk on 2 legs all the time. So there's Bob, and there's the Bigfoot, right? I mean, case closed, right?
I never saw that.
I mean, look at that dude. Look, isn't he like what I said? Big old country dude?
Yeah.
I mean, we see that guy walking, and you imagine him with a fucking gorilla suit on. It doesn't even look good. It looks like shit. And it's just too convenient. All of it's too convenient. That the fact that the guy went looking for it and found it and filmed it, and the whole thing's corny. It's corny.
Data matters.
Data does matter, and there's no real data in terms of genetics. There's been a lot of like goofy talk that they found like some kind of human DNA and samples of hair. The problem with that is all that DNA's been contaminated. I actually talked to an actual biologist about this, and we did an episode of Joe Rogan Questions Everything for the Sci-Fi Channel on Bigfoot. We hung around with Bigfoot hunters. Duncan and I went out with them and looking for Bigfoot and camping with them and everything. And it's people that are just looking for something. I think at one point in time it was real. I think almost certainly at one point in time human beings did interact with Gigantopithecus. It was a real animal. You know about that? Mm-hmm. And Gigantopithecus matches exactly like what people talk about when they talk about Sasquatch. It looks exactly like that. An enormous bipedal hominid that was, maybe more than 8 feet tall, And they found out about this thing by accident when a guy was looking in an apothecary shop in China, and he found gigantic teeth that were clearly primate teeth. He's like, where'd you find these? And they go there and they go to the site. And they dig out jaw bones that indicate it was bipedal. And so now they know it's a real thing that existed. And I think they date that to, when do they date? I think they date that to 100,000 years ago. When do they date Gigantopithecus to?
Wikipedia says roughly 2 million to 350,000 years.
350,000. I thought it was closer. I thought it was closer to us.
That's just what Wikipedia says. I have to see if there's other disputes or something.
Yeah, see if because I'd read that the carbon date that they did on these teeth. I think they said that was somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 and something thousand years ago. So that would put it, with semi-modern looking human beings.
Mm-hmm.
So the question
Very
is,
modern.
right? And then the question is like, how long did it survive? Like, just because you find something, like say if you find one that's 200,000 years old, doesn't mean that it didn't exist 100,000 years ago or even 50,000 years ago. Like, when was the last one? When did they die off? And when did humans encounter them? And if you look at their range, like if they found them in Asia, and then you look at the Bering landmass, and you look at where does it drop off? Well, it drops off in the Pacific Northwest. Like that's like literally like goes down Alaska, makes its way down the coast, dense forest, which is where a thing like that. So proteins extracted from a roughly 1.9 million year old tooth of the aptly named Gigantopithecus is a close relative to modern orangutans. So protein comparisons amongst living fossil apes suggest that Gigantopithecus and orangutan forerunners diverged from a common ancestor between 10 and 12 million years ago.
Jeez.
But when did it die off?
It's the same thing. It says they hadn't found anything from
300,000
the
years
late
ago.
Pleistocene era. They only have this from the early part of it.
Okay, so it said the fossils date from around 2 million to almost 300,000 years ago. The sizes of individual teeth and jaws indicate that it weighed between 200 and 300 kilograms. That's a big fucker. Interesting. So that was Bigfoot. So if humans did make it to the point where we had language and the ability to communicate ideas, they probably would communicate about all these creatures that they encountered, and that would be one of them.
Yeah.
But the actual like Patterson footage Bigfoot, that's horseshit. There's just too many hunters out there, too many hikers.
Who would have seen something?
Yeah, they don't see anything.
And you personally never heard or experienced anything?
No. Like a Bigfoot thing?
Yeah.
You don't think I would say that first? That'd be the first
Maybe
thing
you're
I would
holding
say.
out, Joe.
No. Yeah, Jersey's an unusual place. Jersey has more black bears per capita than any state in the United States.
I don't know if that's a fact, but I believe you because I've seen them myself.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
everywhere.
You've seen bears on your property.
Not on my property, but when I used to stay with my aunt in the Poconos, the bears used to come in her backyard because there was like a stream in the backyard, and they would like come in there and just grab fish out of the stream.
They killed a kid. One bear killed a kid a couple of years ago from one of the colleges. What college was it? The one near New Brunswick? What was it? Rutgers.
And you never seen the video in Jersey of the walking bear, the bear that would walk on 2 feet through people's backyard?
Yeah, it had a
Big black
bad
bear?
front paw.
Never saw that?
No.
Hell yeah. That shit happens.
There it is. Look at it. Look at the video. The bear walking around.
Oh yeah.
Look at that.
See, that's
Bigfoot.
Yeah, that's you know who believes in Bigfoot?
Yeah.
You have a believer in
Who?
the studio right now.
Who believes in Bigfoot? Do you really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
No, 100% believes in.
I'm gonna say- but you know why I believe in Bigfoot? Because of shit like mooses. You know what I'm saying? I'm serious. Like if you see something, if you see a fucking species like a moose, you're like, my God,
Right.
why would you not believe? Look at that shit.
Yeah.
At some point in life, somebody was trying to explain that to somebody else, and they're like, man, get the fuck out of here.
Right now,
True.
when he's trying to explain it to me.
But look at the size of that goddamn
Yeah, that's
thing.
insane
Those
and
things are
elegant.
so
Look at those
big.
legs. Work.
They'll fuck you up too. Those are the rare deer species that will fucking
They're
stomp you
aggressive.
to death. Yeah, they're used to dealing with wolves. If they think you're a threat, they just run up on you and stomp you to death.
Why don't you believe in Bigfoot?
Well, I actually did a television show where I went hunting for them.
You were gonna
you
do
wasn't
it.
on Finding Bigfoot.
No.
Which
I
one?
did a show called Joe Rogan Questions Everything. We spent a whole week in the Pacific Northwest talking to Bigfoot hunters.
Yeah.
We camped out there. Me and Duncan Trussell went and
Shout to
interviewed
Duncan.
scientists and interviewed all these different archaeologists, all these different people that didn't believe and did believe. It was a real animal at one point in time.
Yes, I don't think it exists now. I think it existed. It's just a primate in the fucking woods.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You don't think it existed?
Oh, I thought you believed that it exists now.
I did up to a certain point, but I was like, in this era with all of the cameras and everything else, somebody would have caught one.
Okay,
Right.
good.
Yeah.
I was a little worried.
No.
Yeah.
I don't believe in it now.
Well, you know,
I believe it existed at some point, but I don't believe it exists anymore.
Let me tell you something. Charlemagne has this amazing power to manifest shit. Okay? So I see how it could lend itself when you believe something so much it becomes real. Right? I could see how it manifests itself into things like Bigfoot.
Bummed out. I probably was hoping it was a UFO.
Oh, I know.
Please
like, I got
let
it.
it be a UFO.
I got one.
I'm still
got
waiting.
my phone.
Joe Rogan. He's like, Joe Rogan's gonna have me on
This
to talk
is
about
gonna
this.
be great. Well, we were at 35,000 feet. And,
That's too obvious, though. It's too obvious. Yeah, it was too
well, I
rudimentary
always
technology.
wonder about what those things are that people keep spotting. I mean, we don't really totally know about their capabilities.
As you know, I go quite deep on this.
Yeah.
And, yeah. I mean,
Do you go deep on it at all, Crystal, or do you just roll your eyes when you start
She
talking
indulges
UFOs?
me.
I don't roll my eyes.
She just grabbed her drink.
I
Yes,
might-
that's an instinct.
I don't roll my eyes. It's not like, I don't go deep the way he does. I find it interesting. I find it question mark, but I can't say I've gone deep down the rabbit hole. In
There's more important things to concentrate on in the
I
moment.
wouldn't say that. I just say for whatever reason,
See, I
it's
don't
not my
know,
thing
though.
that I'm super fascinated
the
by.
mystery of alien life.
Do you
That's the
think
most
that
interesting thing
is
there is.
a more male-oriented thing?
Definitely possible.
You think so?
Here's the thing.
Why
Out
do you
of
think so?
all the people that I've interviewed that are UFO experts, they're
Yeah,
all men.
dudes.
Yeah.
All Sasquatch experts, all men.
Huh.
I
So
have a
what do
joke
you?
about Sasquatch experts. That I think they're all unfuckable white dudes. This is
Hey,
th-
Les
this
Stroud
the-
is a fucking gem. Okay,
this
don't
is
say that about
the
him.
last thing
Yeah.
you're gonna find
Yeah.
when you go looking for Bigfoot. Black people. You're more likely to find Bigfoot than you are black people looking for Bigfoot. It's like a bit I had. I go, it's all unfuckable white dudes.
There's like those shows of Bigfoot.
Okay.
Black people aren't buying it. They're like,
They're like, we
they're
got
like,
real
what?
shit going on
Where
in our
the
lives.
fuck
We don't
did
need.
you guys get excited about this?
It is some white guy shit.
It's
so true.
unfuckable white guys.
My friend Essie Cup, who we had on the screen
Yes.
earlier, I wouldn't say she's a Sasquatch expert, but she's super into them.
Of course.
So it's a little tiny fly in the ointment of your
Okay.
theory here.
I don't think it's fair to put Sasquatch and UFO in the same category.
It 100% is. Because I hope they're both real.
Don't.
I hope they're both real.
I just think there's a lot more evidence on the UFO side. I mean,
Yes, there is. But there's also evidence that there was an animal that was a bipedal hominid that lived alongside of human beings.
Oh, interesting.
An
I actually hadn't
enormous
looked into
one.
this.
An
Yeah.
enormous one. It's called Gigantopithecus. It's absolutely real.
In the Pacific
And
Northwest?
There was it was in Asia, and this was during the time before the Ice Age when the Bering Land Bridge was available. Right. There was an animal that they discovered in an apothecary shop in China, and I believe it was in the 1920s. An anthropologist was there, and he found these enormous primate teeth. I might be fucking this up. I don't think I am, though. He found these enormous primate teeth, and he was like, what the fuck is this? And where'd you get this? And it led to an investigation. They found the site where these things were recovered, and they found more. And they found jaw bones that would indicate that this animal is bipedal, which means it stood up on two legs, and it was fucking enormous. Like 8 foot tall, gorilla-like, orangutan-like creature that existed alongside human beings.
Okay, but we don't know exactly, when did the
We
teeth
know
or
for a
jawbone or whatever
fact that
date
they
to?
existed 100,000 years ago
Okay.
because of these bones. But that doesn't mean they didn't exist 50,000 years ago or 10,000 years ago.
Right.
We don't know. And if they did exist 10,000 years ago, it makes sense why the Native Americans would have many, many names for these creatures. And they didn't really have mythical creatures. That's what a Gigantopithecus would have looked like.
Jesus, wow.
So it was an
That's so
enormous
crazy.
a great ape that lived alongside us and absolutely 100,000 years ago. And then they found many other creatures that were really interesting that we didn't know existed that absolutely lived alongside human beings. One of them was the Hobbit man from the island of Flores.
Yes,
So
yes.
that's
That one I knew about.
Homo floresiensis, I think.
That was
it's called.
Indonesia, I believe.
Yes.
Right.
Didn't they have some local lore also about that? Like the elders had some connectivity to when that species existed alongside of them?
Yes, they call it the Orang Pendek. And by the way, Hawaii has a similar legend. I talked to a gentleman in Hawaii when I was there recently. And he was this old timer. He was great, and he was telling me all the different names that the native Hawaiians have for things. And he was explaining how there was a creature that supposedly lived when the first people got here. And it was a small, hairy, ape-like creature that is similar to what's been spotted in Vietnam and in other parts of the world in these jungle areas. And they call it the orang pendek, and it's identical to this hobbit person. So when they existed, who knows? They might have existed 500 years ago or 100 years ago or 50 years ago. We don't fucking know. But we do know that there were a bunch of different kinds of ape-like creatures that existed alongside of us. And they think that these Homo floresiensis were really like close to human. They were like on a branch. Like they used tools, they hunted, they worked together, and they might have communicated. They might have had a language. Like we don't know.
See, so this is why I think it all connects to UFOs, where it's like I can't imagine but stepping back and dreaming of like Earth. We don't even know what it looked like 2,500 BC.
Right.
Beyond that, we have no idea. That's when written history begins. You've talked a lot with Graham Hancock, his Ancient Apocalypse series, and the reason why I think there's a connectivity is like, what's possible, man?
Yeah.
That's what the UFO thing. I'm like, if there is ancient life here, or multiple forms of alien life, or some connectivity between that, or even past contact of all this, it's like our entire understanding of the world is just completely wrong, and I just find that so seductive, I guess, like that idea. Maybe that's foolish, and maybe that's part like a male thing, like you're talking about. But there's enough there that we can't help but be interested. We're like, what's happening?
You just persuaded Sagar he was just shitting on the Sasquatch people, and now he's like,
well,
all
it
in.
definitely
I'm talking
existed.
more about Homo floresiensis. And the idea that there was a
Sasquatch-
human civilization like a million years ago.
The Sasquatch is more likely because it definitely existed. Like they know that within the time that human beings were alive, we're going to have stories about this creature. Now, whether or not those stories persist long after the creature is extinct and people pretend they see it when they're really just seeing black bears that are walking upright, which they do all the time. I've seen black bears walk upright. And if black bears have a hurt paw, there was a black bear, a famous black bear in New Jersey, that had a hurt, it very badly damaged front paw, so it would walk on its rear legs. It would walk upright like a 7-foot tall animal.
That's crazy.
Which is just like, if you saw it through the trees, you'd be like, oh my God, it's a giant
I saw
ape.
one in Glacier National.
Les Stroud.
Yeah.
He did that show about
Survivor Man Bigfoot, yeah.
But it just went away.
Bro, that show, I love Les Stroud. I love him. I love Survivor Man. That show was so fucking dumb.
Yeah.
He had a guy on the show that is known in the Bigfoot world as being full of shit.
Yeah.
Which is bad. Like, if the Bigfoot world's pretty open-minded. I mean, this is one of the things that I wanted to bring up about that 411 The Hunted thing. There's audio recording that was supposedly taken from the 1970s from Northern California. I want to say Sonoma? I don't remember where it was. It was somewhere in Northern California, but they call them the samurai sounds. The samurai, and it's the weirdest shit ever, man. It's like these guys had this spot that they would go into the mountains, and they would hunt every year. And they built this structure out there, and then they brought recording equipment, and they claimed to have recorded sounds of these animals, these Bigfoot, and that these Bigfoot were around them all the time while they were up there. Now, what's crazy about it is the sounds are so weird. It sounds like someone pretending to be Japanese that doesn't actually speak Japanese. Yeah. Have you ever heard it? No. We'll play it for you. It's because it's the weirdest shit. It sounds so strange and so fake, but like they have these quote unquote experts that say the human voice is not capable of making sounds remotely similar to this. The range is, which doesn't make any sense if you know who Michael Winslow is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I know.
That guy that guy went on.
He does a woman peeing when she goes to the bathroom.
He does everything.
Yeah, he does everything.
He did Led Zeppelin. He played Whole Lotta Love with his mouth.
Yeah.
And it sounds incredible. But this samurai sound, like there's these loud whoops, whoops, and these guys are like in the foreground, like the guys who are recording, they're trying to communicate with these things. They sound so calm. I mean, if there really was giant fucking 8-foot apes out there wandering around, like 200-300 yards away from you, screaming and whooping and talking, would you really, and you're in the woods, would you really be so calm? Wouldn't you be freaking the fuck out with these guys? Do you have it?
Yeah, I'm trying to make sure I find the right thing because I'm stumbling across some traps.
Oh.
It's like people are fucking around the internet.
I wish I could remember the gentleman's name.
Well, I think I have it, is all I'm saying. So, Ronald J. Moorhead and Alan Berry, maybe? Is that right?
Yes, Ron Moorhead. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. The Sierra Mountains. That's what it is.
All right.
And so, it's the weirdest shit ever. Just listen to this. You're going to...
I read what it could be, but we'll listen first.
It could be bullshit.
Yeah,
That's what it could be.
That sounds like all aboard.
Listen to the guy. This is, hold on, stop. This is a terrible version of it.
Wow.
There's a better version of it where you can hear the guys really clearly. The people talking. I don't know why that's so scratchy. But they're like, they're over by the lake. Like they're talking like that. And they hear this very strange sound.
And they're being calm about it.
Yeah. And these, supposed vocal experts are analyzing it. The human body is incapable of making such sounds. And that area of... You got it?
I don't know. It says HD. I don't
Okay,
know if
we'll
it's
hear
better.
it. In for Nightville. Yeah. They're knocking. That's another thing that Sasquatch do. They knock. That one's weird. Scoot ahead a little bit and hear the samurai sounds. Still sounds terrible. Anyway, these people believe that shit. Les Stroud was balls deep in this.
With that guy.
Deep. Apparently, he had an experience, and I talked to him about his experience. It's pretty interesting. He was in, not with that guy, but he was in Alaska, and apparently he heard some crazy noises, like some monkey sounds outside of his, in the middle of nowhere. No one was anywhere near. And he said he heard something run away, some bipedal sound of something running away. But again, even though he's an experienced woodsman and he's a guy who's, camped out countless nights in the middle of nowhere and survives in the middle of nowhere and documents it. Like, he's the reason why those survivor shows exist.
Yeah.
Because that guy literally would starve to death and try to eat, like, bark and whatever the fuck he could for 7. You could see his face, like, sinking in. He was losing weight. I mean, he really did do that. He did all sorts of different things to try to survive and then documented how he was doing it and what he would do. But he got obsessed with Bigfoot and then developed that Bigfoot show. And unfortunately, a lot of people lost a lot of faith in him because of that. They're like, no, you're the legit survivor guy, and now you're doing this show, and this is why it's ridiculous. There was one episode of the show where they had this guy who he was with who had video of a Sasquatch, like high definition video, and it looks so fake.
Yeah.
It's like he's like the Sasquatch is looking at him through the woods, and he's like, there he is. And it's a guy with a mask on.
That's how he goes. He yells out, "I'm a Sasquatch." You're like, oh god, he just yelled that out.
Makes the samurai noise. But this, the guy who had the video is known to be like full of shit, and here he's got this guy on a show, and then he. Is this real? You be the judge. Like, yeah, I'm going to say it's not real. It's a guy with a fucking mask on.
I think I did read that guy was very not respected.
Yes.
In that.
By the Bigfoot community.
Yeah.
You know, the Bigfoot community. Again, very open-minded.
Yeah, very just into everything.
This other thing, like they would see trees that would fall over, like in certain patterns, and they were convinced that Sasquatch was leaning these trees against each other.
I thought it was to let you know where not to go.
Yeah. They had this idea. I mean, it's all theory, right? This idea.
Yeah, I think I've been following the wrong guy, dude. I believe all the stuff that you like's fake. I'm like, yeah. I only watched that Les Stroud one because of that other guy.
Well, I want it to be real. That's the thing.
I do too.
If someone had a convincing Bigfoot encounter where they caught it on video, where I was like, "Holy shit, what is that? Like, what is that?" Or there was something, but there's nothing. Like I've talked to a lot of those people when I did this show called Joe Rogan Questions Everything for Sci-Fi, and me and Duncan Trussell actually went camping in the Pacific Northwest. We didn't really camp. We pretended to go camping, and then we went to a hotel.
Yeah.
And then we came back the next morning, like, well, rough night of camping. But we were out there for days trying to look for Sasquatch and talking to people that hunt for Sasquatch. And the one conclusion that we came to is it's a bunch of unfuckable white dudes. Like, that's
just out there. Yeah.
just out there camping.
Yeah.
It's just, but the desire for it to be real is so strong.
It would change. I watched, like that Finding Bigfoot show. I used to always think, because people are like, why is it on? I'm like, I don't know, man, because it's fun to watch. And if they find him, the world is different now. If they come back with Bigfoot, everything's different.
Everything's different.
Everything's getting different with the alien thing.
Yeah.
The fact that they're saying that's like true, you're like, that's a lot, dude. That's a lot to take. If we get, I know that they have the videos and stuff of the aliens, but like if we get up straight up start talking to one, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, here's something that came out today, Jamie. I'm going to send you this because Sagar and Jetty from Rising on the Hill and I have been going back and forth with this, and I found this today and sent it to him. It's I'll send it to you right now, Jamie. It says paradigm-shifting UFO tech that alters space-time is operable. U.S. Navy Chief Tech Officer. So it's some story that I didn't bother looking into because I saw it when I was on my way out the door. And I was like, what in the fuck is this? Because there's been all these sightings of these things that move in some weird way. Paradigm-shifting UFO tech. There's these things that move in this weird way that don't show any propulsion system. And, due to censorship, please join us on Telegram. I'm going to say, documents obtained by the Drive show the revolutionary technology that has capability to alter space-time may actually be operable, according to the Naval Aviation Enterprise Chief Technology Officer, Dr. James, how do you say that name? Sheehy? What do you think?
Operable in quotes. What is that?
I don't know. Good question. Reflect on why is technology that has the potential to change the entire human experience for the better always used for the defense purposes and military applications? What are the betterments? What about the betterment of humanity? Yeah, I don't know. But it's Christopher Mellon, who's that guy who keeps coming up with all this UFO tech stuff. Can you scroll back up, please?
Someone's just like writing. I was reading through Twitter. It's like a story. It's not really like an article.
Right. Twitter feed of Christopher Mellon, the former Deputy Assistant Defense Secretary for Intelligence from 1997 to 2002. Doing so, I came across an interesting post from the Drive regarding documents they received via the Freedom of Information Act regarding a space-time modification weapon developed by the U.S. Navy, which apparently has already gone through experimental testing. This in turn led me to evidence suggesting that other revolutionary type of technology that could no doubt be used to change the world for the better, blah, 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 was already operable. Yeah, I don't know. But this is what, if you pay attention to the UFO world, do you pay attention to that shit at all?
Not, like, actively.
There's a guy named Bob Lazar. And
I do know that from, because you talked to him.
Yeah. It was one of the weirdest conversations I've ever had. Because you're like, I mean, are you crazy? Are you full of shit? Or is this real?
Yeah.
Because if it is real,
wild.
This thing is a special effect created, a guy who was a special effect artist. Do you remember his name, Jamie, who made this thing for us? This gentleman, he's got a designs by Perry Designs by Perry at Instagram, and he created this thing, and this is like a scale model of what Bob Lazar supposedly worked on. He was hired by the United States military to work at Area S4, which is part of the Area 51, Area 51 Site S4. Site 4 was this place where he allegedly worked to back engineer these spaceships. And the way these things moved around was exactly how this Christopher Mellon guy, or this article rather, that quoted him as describing, that they used some sort of gravity, space-time bending technology. So they didn't use a propulsion system like a rocket, shoots flame out the back. They bent time in front of them and just would shoot instantaneously to wherever the fuck they wanted to go.
So you'd be like instantly be able to go.
Instantly. What's fucked is that there was an instance off of the coast of San Diego in 2004 where a Navy pilot by the name of Commander David Fravor, who I've also had on the show, experienced this thing that they call the Tic-Tac UFO. They tracked it with radar. They tracked it with the camera systems on their plane, and they even have video footage of this thing. It went from 80,000 feet above sea level to 1 in a second.
Wow.
That's the amount of time that it takes radar to do the blip, blip,
yeah.
blip, blip. So in that time, it traveled 80,000 feet. They have no idea how the fuck it did that. It shows no propulsion, heat signature. They took video footage of this thing, and it went from there. It took off where they couldn't even follow it with their eye, just disappeared to the predetermined destination where they were supposed to coordinate later. So it's like it's reading their tracking systems or reading where they were going. And the people that worked on the aircraft carrier were telling the fighter pilot, like, we've been seeing these things over, we see them like every couple weeks. We have no idea what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
And they just say, well, there it is. What are we going to do about that?
Yeah. Yeah, I like to picture an alien in that Tic-Tac. He's like, whoa, slow it down, dude. You're kind of crazy right now. Like he's having a bad day in there. Because he's got to be having just a day. Whoever's in there, some kind of day. Maybe having a day. It's a lot to... Yeah, I don't know. You think it's like a lot to just tell people? Like if they had to be like, to tell like just Earth, all of us humans on Earth, to like wrap our head around what would happen?
I think, what do you say if that's all you know? Like if you are the military and all you know is that something can do these things, something can move at this speed. The New York Times had a front page article about it a couple of years ago. And basically they're saying, hey, there are videos of things moving in a way that we don't understand, that aren't exhibiting a heat signature that indicates a propulsion system, and we don't know what it is. And then there's the COVID-19 bill that just got passed, and one of the provisions in the COVID-19 bill is that they have 180 days to release all the information they have about UFOs.
That's a lot,
But I don't know if they're going to do anything with. I think they're going to do nothing.
That's funny
with
that it's in this.
They go, yeah, we don't have anything.
COVID-19 bill.
Yeah,
like that's
a lot of weird shit was in the COVID-19 bill, like foreign aid. There's a lot of foreign aid to Pakistan, aid to all these countries. It's like people just to get it passed. They're like, okay, we'll say yes, but I want you to do a little favor for me and put this in the bill.
Yeah,
and there's just shows you how greasy politicians are.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
yeah.
But that's allegedly what all that UFO technology